Hi everyone, this is Himanshu Sehgal, co-founder PharmaShots. With me today we have Heba. Heba from arcellx. She is the Chief Scientific Officer at arcellx. So thank you so much, Heba, for taking out time and talking to us at this forum called CXO Talks. So for everyone, CXO Talks is a monthly a podcast where I talk to multiple C-suite level executives from across the industry, across the companies, and try to dig deep into the insights of what the company is doing and what's the status, what's the viewpoint, and all that. So this is going to be a candid conversation with Heba from arcellx. So once again, thank you for taking out time and talking to us for the CSO talk. So, Heba, I'll start with a very basic and very simple question. That can you give your quick introduction, please?
Absolutely. No, it's great to be here. Thank you for having me. So yeah, my background is immunologist, something that you and I have in common. I saw both trained in immunology.
Yes.
Wonderful field to be in, especially with all of the movement that's been happening both in the cell therapy space and in immunomodulatory drugs, across oncology and even in the inflammation and immunology space. So started in immunology, did my postdoc at the La Jolla Institute for Allergy and Immunology in the Division of Chronic Inflammation, and then started my career in biotech actually at Kite. Of course, it's a very cool story where I started at Kite and then now arcellx has a partnership with Kite. So kind of that full circle, which is really cool. While I was at Kite, worked both on CAR T cells as well as TCR, engineered T cells. Kite had a few of those drugs that were developed in collaboration with the NCI, so the creators of the NCI. And then from there, I moved into an investor role at Vita Ventures, which was a really wonderful opportunity for me to sit on the other side of the table, really get a chance to understand the motivation that investors have in building and developing different stages of biotechs. So worked at Vita for a little over a year and then moved into Iconovir, so a viral therapeutic company, which was actually founded and built by Vita Ventures. Was part of the founding team and stayed with the company for a little over 4 years. We took the technology that was actually licensed from the Salk Institute through the clinic and went through phase 1 clinical trials. And 4 months ago, I joined arcellx as the CSO, and it's been really wonderful. Quite a company for many reasons, which I'm sure we'll get into shortly.
Okay, so I think so you have just joined, so you're kind of new to the company, right?
Yes.
So okay, so it's going to be an interesting conversation, a fresher perspective in the company. So great. So I understand that you're very new to the company, so there might be some things which you're still getting the hang of it. So I'll ask the questions. It's up to you if you are familiar about those things. You can talk about it. Otherwise you can just skip that. So let's start with another basic question. Do you know, can you talk about a little bit of a genesis of the company, how it started, who started this, a little bit of a history about the company would be great.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So company was started back in 2014, and I had the really unique opportunity of joining at the 10-year anniversary point. So about a month after I joined, the company celebrated their 10-year anniversary. And a piece of the company that I think is really special is the people. When I think about joining a biotech, at whatever stage the company is at, there's really two parts. There's the people and then the science. And the people at arcellx, it really is a place where you feel the passion and the drive towards drug development. And actually within the research department, there are a group of scientists that have been with the company since the start. So the company celebrated its 10-year anniversary, and that group of scientists also celebrated 10 years with being at the company. And I think that really speaks to the culture and the commitment towards drug development and really the patient focus that not only the team of scientists, but leadership and really everyone at the company holistically is focused around. You can feel it as we discuss our advancement in the multiple myeloma space with anito-cel, as well as the SPARCS platform as it's being developed in acute myeloid leukemia. And as we look at the pipeline moving forward, there's very much this patient focus within the company itself. The other piece that I'll talk about with arcellx that I think is unique and special is that while the company has grown both in success and, space and total number of folks, they've really maintained that early startup feel. Being at a startup at my previous role, I think it's something that speaks to, again, the commitment of scientists, but also this sentiment of collaboration. We have a unified goal, and we're really working towards something together as a team, and that there is an ownership across the board. You feel the energy, which I think is just, it makes it really easy to come to work every day, and makes it so that you really want to do whatever you can to ensure that this drug that we're developing is going to impact patients in a positive way. The second part of arcellx, of course, is the science. There's two platforms that the company has developed. The D-domain platform, which is the binder that really makes anito-cel and what is differentiating about anito-cel. And then there's the SPARCS platform, which work in early clinical trials in AML. The SPARCS platform basically takes the parts of the D-domain, so that synthetic unique binder, and then allows for a more modular approach towards treatment with cell therapy, so that you now have a universal CAR T-cell and that you're able to go after multi-targeting, as well as having modularity around how you're dosing, the amount that you're dosing, and gives you that flexibility to reach the appropriate therapeutic index. And it was really both of those platforms that brought me to arcellx. I think that the company absolutely is positioned in a place to take cell therapy as a drug product and modality to the next level. We are positioned for commercialization, anticipated commercialization in 2026. That is, I think, the number one kind of example of how impactful this platform is. And with the scope in which we can further develop cell therapy products in hem-onc as well as in solid tumors, within my research departments and within arcellx, we're really excited not only about what we're doing today, but what we're doing a year, 5 years, and 10 years from now.
So I can really see the spark in your eyes about how happy you are. So awesome. That's something very nice, that when you enjoy your work. So okay. So I am not sure if you know about this or not, but one of our editors actually recently spoke to. I'm sorry about that. So recently spoke to someone in arcellx about anito-cel.
Yes.
So can you shed some light on the development status? Or you have obviously given some details about it, but development status of anito-cel, plus you have also recently presented results at ASH, very recently in December.
Yes.
So can you talk about that as well, if that's something?
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, we recently presented at ASH back in December, and there were actually two presentations that arcellx gave, the phase 2 pivotal Imagine-1 study, as well as the phase 1 data highlights. For the phase 2 pivotal study, there were preliminary results from 86 patients enrolled with anito-cel demonstrating 97% ORR, which I think is really incredible. I mean, that basically means that every single person, it's not 100%, but 97%, every single person that was treated had a response, which it's just an incredible bar to hit. But then not just that 97% ORR, also 62% CR with a median follow-up up to 9.5 months. And I just want to take a moment and reflect on what that means. When we start to talk about progression-free survival or medium follow-up, and we see these numbers as months, we start to get maybe a little bit desensitized to that just being numbers on a graph and it's just stats. But what does it mean for a patient? I think it means that that patient that was running out of options, because this is now fourth-line therapy, running out of options, now has been treated with a drug that's expanded what they can do with their life. Now that means they get to go to another birthday, they get to attend another wedding, they get to see the birth of a grandchild. So for us, I think it's really exciting, and every month that we're able to provide additional to a patient, I think is really important. And I will note that the other piece to anito-cel's story is the safety. So while we want to have the potency of the drug, we really also want to achieve the safety. And what's really important with anito-cel is that we have observed no delayed neurotoxicities, including no Parkinsonian, no cranial nerve palsy, and no Guillain-Barré syndrome. And that's across 150 patients that have been dosed, both in the phase 1 and Imagine-1 studies. So really important benchmark for us in terms of not seeing that delayed neurotoxicity. Achieving that 97% ORR and 62% CR is really, really important. And this is us with this preliminary data demonstrating deep and durable responses within that fourth line relapse refractory multiple myeloma patient population. So that was the Imagine-1 story. The other presentation was around phase 1. So, there we were really able to highlight a little over 30-month median progression-free survival. So again, that goes back to my point that is a really important data point in terms of what it means to patients and the impact on patient lives. When I think back to when I started my career as a bench scientist, we all have this drive to have a positive impact on patients, regardless of what drug that you're working on. I think in oncology, we all have family members that have been infected by cancer. So it becomes personal really quickly. And you're working as a bench scientist, you're running experiments day in and day out, and you hope that one day what you're working on gets to the clinic. And hopefully in the clinic, it actually has a positive response. And so here joining arcellx, I have to say that when I go out and I, walk through the lab, as I'll do every now and then, they are so committed because they see this data being published. And actually a number of the scientists from the team attended ASH, got to hear the PIs talk about, the treating physicians talk about their patients and what it was like, to administer the drug, how excited they are about anito-cel. Not only, again, about the potency and the efficacy of anito-cel, but that safety component, which I think is really, really important for treating clinicians. And scientists came back re-energized and just saying, this was all worth it. And, those few that I mentioned that had been at the company for 10 years, I mean, truly, I got goosebumps sitting next to them because it started out with, well, let's try and make a D-domain binder against BCMA and let's see what happens. And, many iterations, many tries, you have multiple hiccups along the way as you're trying to develop preclinically, and as in the preclinical setting, there's lots of failures. I mean, I had a friend of mine say, it's called research for a reason because you research again and again and again. Right. And exactly, it's not for the faint of heart, but we all do it to get to this point. And it's just, I feel humbled to be able to be part of this team and to really witness the success of anito-cel at this stage. And I'm super excited to see the data that's going to start emerging from the phase 3 trial, which we're doing in collaboration with Kite, which is currently enrolling patients. I think that, what we're going to end up developing is a truly transformative drug that will be available to patients in a couple of years.
So, and then honestly, MPFS and that too at a fourth line, MPFS of 30 months at a fourth line is very, very impressive. Even I have not heard about it, honestly. And you speaking about research is something, it took me to my college days when I was with the University of Leeds and one of my immunology professors said exactly the same line. Himanshu, that's why we call it research, because you research it every time. So yeah,
Absolutely.
It took me to the college days. Awesome. So that's impressive. So again, continuing with anito-cel, because again, it's a lead molecule. I have seen it in a pipeline that you are also assessing this molecule in autoimmune, which is generalized myasthenia gravis.
Yes.
Pardon me. So, I mean, this is very unique, and I have seen this only in couple of molecules previously. One was rituximab, which is again used in heme oncology and autoimmune, and similar kind of a story is being built up. I think with the anito-cel, I guess that one myeloma, and now another is myasthenia gravis. So what is the progress, and what makes this molecule so unique that it is working again with both oncology and autoimmune?
Yeah. So current status, we cleared our IND application last year, and we're beginning to open sites and enroll patients for the myasthenia gravis study. It's still very early, so no data to speak of yet, but starting to enroll patients, which is exciting. And I think to your question around autoimmune, why autoimmune? Part of it, of course, is that there's this ability to take a successful drug that we have quite a bit of success into multiple myeloma, and then with that focus on patients, where else can we provide that benefit? And myasthenia gravis in autoimmunity made sense. I will have to say that for a lot of CAR T companies, they're also making this move. In some settings, the pivot is because maybe some of the data in oncology didn't look so great. But for us, it really is why not autoimmune? We already have success in multiple myeloma. This as a modality, as a target within this indication, like I said, makes a lot of sense. And with the efficacy and safety, really importantly, the safety that we're seeing in the multiple myeloma setting, we really do want to provide that benefit to patients, within the myasthenia gravis setting as well.
Awesome. So again, this question is again about this anito-cel only, and from myasthenia. So you said it's just started in the clinical stage.
Yes.
Another question I want to ask is that have you published anything from the preclinical stage? Any results which have been published so far?
Yes, we do have a paper that's been published on the preclinical studies on the DDBCMA. That came out, I believe, a couple years ago. And we're continuing to do work on the preclinical side, both in terms of the pipeline, but also as we continue to, understand and harness the differentiation and the benefit of having a D-domain binder.
Question just now came to mind that you are anito-cel is being assessed in fourth line, which is very rare and very lesser number of patients. So any plans that assessing anito-cel in the earlier line of therapies, like of one first line, second line, or maybe something else?
I think absolutely, that's definitely on the table, and that this is where partnership with Kite is important. And we are really fortunate to be working with one of the leaders in cell therapy. Their expertise in manufacturing and just being in the space for as long as they have been, I think sets us up for success as we move towards earlier lines of therapy. Can't really speak to timing or anything, but of course, that's something that's absolutely on the table. And again, just to reemphasize it, we are geared. We're in a great place because of our partnership with Kite.
So I think I am sort of done with the questions. Because I really wanted to talk about a couple of things, which was really like when you are expecting approval and all that, which you have already answered.
Yeah.
So I think you've actually answered some of my questions which I wanted to ask, but you've answered them already. So thank you so much, Heba. It was really lovely talking to you, and again, a fellow immunologist. It always, is always a pleasure talking to a fellow immunologist. So thank you
Absolutely.
once again. It was lovely talking to you. I would love to reconnect with you, and maybe we can arrange some sort of a panel discussion with arcellx scientific team all together, maybe
I would
sometime in
love that.
future. And
Yes.
yeah, we would also love that basically.
All
So
right.
yeah, great. So it
Thank
was
you.
amazing, and thank you everyone for listening to this podcast. We will get back to you with another interesting story like Heba and arcellx in the next coming month. So have a great day. Bye bye.